Okay, welcome to Blender Toolbox, and in this episode we're going to create the Blender Toolbox Toolbox. And an appropriate project to start off this channel is the Blender Toolbox itself. So we started off by importing a reference image of the side panel, and the first thing we'll do is we'll add a circle, give it 16 vertices, and we'll size this circle down. But first we will reduce the opacity of the reference image so the lines stand out. So reduce that down to 50%, and we'll size the circle and we'll align it along the reference image. There we go. Bring it down. And then the next thing we're going to do is dupe that circle and size it down for the inner circle, the hole for the handle ultimately. Alright, so we'll join these two circles together so that they're in the same object. And then we'll go into edit mode and we'll use the edge selector. And we'll choose both these edges and we'll unify them through bridge edge loops. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we broke apart the circle and we're going to create faces along the perimeter of the top portion. And the reason we're doing this is so that when we create the bevel, we'll have a nice clean edge loop. Alright, so we're going to speed up the video through this area. And by extruding and then using the F key to connect the vertices, and then ultimately the F key again to fill the vertice. Alright. Moving right along. Extrude, fill. One to go. Alright, now we're going to just do some tweaking along there. Some clean, evenly spaced out mesh. And then we'll extrude for the lower portion. Next, we will remove the right half of the circle and we'll just put a mirror modifier to do the right half. So if you, on the mirror modifier, if you click on clipping, then when you pull it together, it assures a nice clean seam. We'll select all the vertices, the faces. And next thing we'll do is we'll extrude to give it some depth. And there's the extrusion. We added a subdivision surface. You could see why we need to add these edge loops so that we have more of a sharp edge, but yet not too sharp. So having a little bevel on the edge gives it a little more realistic feel. So we'll work our way around each of these, and the inner circle, get a nice edge loop there, nice edge loop on the inside, and it's coming along, and then the bottom. Okay. So I think that is good for now for the first panel. There you go. And next what we'll do is we'll duplicate and drag along the y-axis. And we'll add another cube and we'll build out the rest of the panels. Okay, so we'll size along the y-axis and we'll Make sure our widths are the same. Looks good. Now we'll rotate this, we'll place it along the edge, bring it down, go into edit mode there, and scale or use the grab tool, line that up, line it along the y-axis, and go to object mode, add a subdivision surface modifier. That's what it ends up looking like. So we'll go into the edit mode, and we'll add our edge loops so we can sharpen those edges. One there, one there, and this direction, and that direction. Then top. All right. So there you have it. And now we'll dupe this. Create the other panel. Crank it along. Dupe this, rotate, we'll align it along here, bring it down, okay. And we can hit the H key, hide these areas so that we could focus. Go into edit mode. Okay, so we'll bring back the hidden panels, and there you have it. Our base toolbox. Next up is our handle. We'll start with a circle and go to edit mode. Move this over. We're going to extrude. And then rotate. And then we'll place this in the opening, size that up, and we'll move it into place and give it a little bit of an offset. Now we'll apply our subdivision surface modifier, go to edit mode, add our edge loops, and we can put an inset just to take away that sort of moire pattern. And there's our circle inset. And we could then place that in position. And we'll dupe that. Place it in the other side. Next up, we could add our cylinder. We'll size that down, put it into place. Go into edit mode. And then use the G key, stretch it across. And then next up, go into object mode, put a subsurf Modifier, edit, put in our loop cuts, and the other side. Tighten that up, get a nice edge. Alright, we'll move it over into place. We'll scale along the y-axis. Very good. And then what we'll do is go through and apply all our modifiers before we get into adding color and material. So add our modifier, apply our modifiers. Apply. Make sure we got them all. Apply. Apply. All right. Okay, moving into color. So we'll go to our material properties panel and we'll add a material and name it red. We'll choose a red. A little darker. Go into viewport shading so we can see the color applied. And then we can go around and apply the color to each of the panel objects. It's a nice bright red. Okay, we're gonna make these little insets different color. We'll make them orange. Grab an orange color there. Apply the orange. All right. Now we'll just create a plane so it's sitting on something. Gives it a bit of a base. We'll center that. Scale it a bit along the Y and the X. And then we'll bring that down along the Z axis. And then we'll adjust our lights. Take the default light and duplicate that. Put one on the front here. One on each side. One in the back. Okay. That looks better. And maybe one at top. Here we go. Looking pretty nice. All right, so there's our base color. We're going to go to edit mode, and now what we're going to do is we're going to create a seam in our UV. Create a UV map so that we can apply the Blender logo into this panel. So we'll select these edges. And next we'll go to the UV and we'll unwrap it. So I'm not really explaining a lot of these things in depth. So we just mark the seam and then we'll select these panels. Like I said, we'll unwrap. So there is our panel unwrapped in our UV editor. So we'll scale this along the x-axis. And then we'll use the G key to move in place. And we'll import the logo. And then we'll size our faces. So we'll, using the L key, and then scale along the x-axis. Alright. So there's the placement. Now we'll go into our material properties. Under base color, we'll choose the image texture and choose the same image, and that puts it in place. And we'll just, our color red was a bit off. And there you go. There is our Blender Toolbox.